a deep breath and close your eyes. And you're going to totally stay inside, but just picture gently yourself going outside here. Like you're staying inside, right? We're reminding ourselves we're staying inside, but I want you to just picture going outside so you can feel the feelings and let yourself feel the feelings of the fear of you going outside.
I can't believe I just saw this out of nowhere.
All you are is this moment, and you're just creating a magical space for a pattern to be seen by you right now.
Oh, okay, I feel chills right now. Oh my god.
Wow. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Kyle
Let's
Cease.
really hear the sentence because we can hear how not legitimate our fears are. I am deciding to stop playing video games, and I'm terrified.
Now, this is Kyle Cease now. Kyle is a motivational speaker. He's a guru. He's enlightened. He knows more than you. And you can pay him thousands and thousands of dollars in order to get his perfect, spiritual, enlightened advice. This is Kyle Cease from just, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago.
I was reading the Bible and I was thinking to myself, if God said all that stuff and there were no witnesses on day one, so how did it even get written? You know what I mean? The only thing I could think of is God wrote it himself, which would be kind of weird to be like, let there be light. And then I said, let there be light. And it was good, and it was good. I screwed that up. I need new paper. Let there be paper. Well, that looks like crap. I don't want to put that. Now I need to make a New Testament.
Cringe all you want, but Kyle had more than one Comedy Central special. He was in movies like 10 Things I Hate About You, Not Another Teen Movie. Kyle was on his way to the big time, and it all went crashing down. Kyle started a comedy boot camp, and every comedian began making fun of Kyle, especially one named Doug Stanhope. This became a huge deal. So what did Kyle do? He used his ability to get on stage and manipulate an audience into laughing at nonsense, to gay nonsense. He used that ability to instead get them to cry at gay nonsense he says on stage. Now, this actually turned out to be quite lucrative for Kyle until about 3 years ago when I showed up. You see, Pot Awful got into the picture because I remembered Kyle as being this comedian who was on his way up. I mean, he was in the Comedy Central roasts. He was being touted. You know, I don't know if you've noticed this, but Comedy Central, when they think you're a real star, when they think that they could do something with you, they put you on those roasts. Amy Schumer, Anthony Jeselnik, all of the big comedians now, they all got a little slice of that pie from the Comedy Central roast. Kyle was one of those guys, and I remembered him that way. And then I saw him doing this fish mouth gay enlightenment crap, this guru nonsense that I've always made fun of and I've always hated. And I went, wait a second. Hang on. What's going on here? Long story short, things have not gone well for Kyle ever since. No, they have not. Kyle did not like me making fun of him. And as it snowballed out of control and I made fun of not just Kyle, but his disciples, people like this guy named Brandon Marshall, Brandon's girlfriend, Amy Toomer, this entire group of creepy, trying to be kind of funny guru weirdos, Kyle found that his scam was not working anymore. We had ceased scams. And it all culminated early this year during season Infinity when Kyle got Me Too. Women think Kyle, some of them think Kyle is a sex creep. That's a factual statement. That's not my opinion. There are women who believe he has been a sexual deviant, okay? He has abused his power. He's used his natural illustrations against women, and all of this while Kyle has a wife and a child. By the way, we called him out for this. He freaked out over it. We had an entire 2 world wars on Kyle Cease to the point where Even his own brother is now involved against his will, by the way. We'll talk about that. And as a result of all of this, as the result of me making fun of him and covering him and turning him into the goon that he now is, I get contacted. People contact me and they say, thank you for covering Kyle. I used to fall for his BS. Not anymore. I'm glad somebody's exposing him for who he really is. This is Kyle's biggest fear. They say sunlight is the greatest disinfectant. Well, Pod Awful is a shining beacon on the Gooniverse of these scam artists and charlatans. Kyle is running scared right now. And the reason for that, and by the way, he's watching this. He's here live watching right now. I guarantee it. The only way he isn't is if he's currently involved with trying to sexually creep out some woman over the internet thanks to coronavirus. He would do it in person, but the virus, we're all being quarantined, so instead he's got to do his sexual deviancy on the internet now. Kyle is running scared because on tonight's program, I have been contacted by one of Kyle's victims, and I will be interviewing them live. Now, this, just to let Kyle know, because he's out there, he's pooping his pants majorly right now. I mean, he's filling his pants with so much poop. The pants are falling down. You can see his whole butt. So I want to let Kyle know, don't freak out too much, okay? It's not one of your sex victims. This is one of the other victims you have. See, this is important because I know a lot of people will tune into this one thinking, oh, I mean that I'm going to talk to one of the women. No, we've already talked to and about the women out there. This is a guy, and I don't mean that Kyle had some sort of homosexual dalliance with a man and tried to rape him. No. When I say victim, I'm talking about any and everyone who has fallen for his scams. That poor woman in the hijab at the beginning of this that he was making cry, that's his whole thing. His entire thing is to make you cry, to break you down into the individual pieces that make up your psyche. He has a grip on human beings' lives. If gaslighting were real, Kyle would be the king of gaslighting. They used to call him Kid Comedy. Well, tonight on the show, I'm going to be talking to a guy who should have known better and fell for the scam. And once the word out there to everybody, it could happen to you too. Don't let yourself be a victim to these gurus like Kyle. Cease scams. Let's go bully the internet. This is Pod Awful.
Pod Awful TV. Oh, your mother's doing it right. Pod Awful sucks, you faggot. Buzz boy. You scam artist, douchebag. You're the worst, motherfucker. Just give up. You fucking little piece of shit.
You're crazy. You're sick of your head.
Fucking dweeb, faggot, jackass. Pod Awful sucks. You know what? You're not funny. I want to really kick your ass. You're human trash.
My mom doesn't like it when I mention Pod Awful anymore.
It's brainwashing. It's as simple as that. It's brainwashing. Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is Pod Awful. I'm your host, Jesse P.S. You can follow me on Twitter, by the way. Quick programming note. I got a new Twitter account. You can follow me on Twitter at OnlineRetard. I'm at OnlineRetard on Twitter. Follow me there. And, of course, you can follow the show everywhere else at Pod Awful. You can pretty much find us there. And we're on Facebook as well. We've got a Facebook group. The show never ends. You know, the show has a storyline. We've got shows live, free for everybody. We've got shows in the Pizza Fund. And we have a Pod Awful Facebook cult. And the show never ends over there. There's always something going on. Join that, podawful.com/cult.
And all I like to say is I thank Dad for making me strong.
Join our cult on Facebook. podawful.com/cult.
All right, so I'm trying to get my guest on the line right now. We might have some interference or something going on. Let's see if we can't get connected. Beep, 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 boop, boop. Okay, we're calling my guest. Now, my guest, his name is Robert, and we're going to get to know him. He has a very unusual history with Kyle Cease. I'm actually shocked. I kind of know this guy. He's sort of been in my Facebook friends list for a while. I don't know if he watches the show or whatever, but I know of him, and I was very shocked to learn this. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've got him here. Are we connected? Have we established a connection?
Are we? Yeah, are we good?
Okay, I think we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest for tonight, Robert Conroy. Robert, thank you so much for joining me.
Yes.
Now,
No
Robert,
problem.
I've kind of known you for a little while.
Yeah.
I mean, how do I know you? How did we end up being connected to one another?
I actually found you a few years ago. So I went to a Kyle Cease convention in 2016.
Wow.
And followed his advice for a while until it ended me up back living in my grandmother's house, destitute.
Jesus Christ.
And so I decided to Google Kyle Cease is a lying piece of shit.
Okay.
And the first thing that came up was your Pod Awful podcast on Kyle Cease.
Wow. So I didn't know that the whole time. So you've known about Pod Awful because of the Kyle Cease stuff.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's insane. Okay, so let's not get too spoilery with all this. Now, I say, in my mind, you should have known better with the Kyle stuff. Because in my mind,
Absolutely.
well, I mean, it seems obvious now, right? But in my mind, not only are you a man, which, you know, I understand when an old woman falls for his bullshit. Like, you see a crying guy and you're like, oh, he must know things. He's so sensitive. But you seem like a guy, you know? You've got a beard. So I'm confused by that alone. But also, you're a comedian, right?
Yeah.
So did you know of Kyle as a comedian before this whole guru thing?
Yeah, so I really liked Kyle as a comedian. Like, I liked his stuff. You know, I looked up to him as a comedian.
Okay. Oh, now hold on. I just wanted to know. We'll come back to that. All right. Let's put a pin in that. We'll come back to it. And by the way, we are live as we are every Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, podawful.tv. Live for free Sundays at podawful.tv. Wednesday and Friday, our shows are in the Pizza Fund, the pay version, the primo stuff. We've got the live chat room going on right now, too, Robert. I do want to check in with the chat. I forgot to do that at the top of the show. So we're going to come back to that because I want to know about you as just a guy. You know, I want to get to know you as a person before we figure out all the Kyle Cease stuff. So let's go to the chat room, see what they have to say right now. This is awesome, they say, while we're going full circle. Pod Awful made him infamous. So would you agree with that I've made Kyle Cease infamous?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you've exposed him for what he is. And I like even just for my life personally, I like that whole full circle thing because, you know, I'd say going with the flow and being my true authentic self got me from a Kyle Cease convention to this point on, you know, reputable podcasts talking shit about Kyle Cease's bullshit.
One of the most reputable podcasts of all time, Pod Awful. So, by the way, they say that's unfortunate that he found Kyle to be funny. Kyle, listen, for the time, you got to remember that clip I played and when he was getting big was almost 20 years ago. Kyle was funny. He was kid comedy. You knew him as kid comedy, Robert, right?
Yeah.
That was his big nickname, Kid Comedy. Jesse is doing his part to help the world. Now, they want me to check your hairline. I think they're a little bit worried because you're wearing a baseball cap.
I mean,
it's fine. It's fine.
It's thinning.
It's thinning. How old are you? How old a fella are you? Let's get to know Robert.
33.
33? Okay, we're the exact same age. So you're 33, so that's a fine hairline for a 33-year-old. I got no problem with that, okay?
Thank you.
People might want to say that.
I mean, I'm jealous.
Listen, you don't, again.
You have an amazing hairline.
It's where my power derives from, of course, but no need for compliments. Yeah. It's fine. I don't begrudge a man for, you know, being in his mid-30s and thinning a little bit. It looks a little worse because you have the ball cap on. You've probably been wearing it a while. It's not Mersh levels of baldness, but I do understand the audience's point on that. It's important to know how out of control a man's life is. And I would say, considering what you've told me about how Kyle affected your life, that all things considered, you have a pretty good grip on your hair. So congratulations. You could look a lot worse after what you've been through with Kyle. So give me an idea, Robert, of your upbringing, of the man you were before Kyle?
Okay, well, honestly, I didn't, and I didn't really actually get into. I did open mics and things like that in Seattle, where I was born and raised.
On the
but I didn't,
playground is
I
where
was-
you
I
spent
was-
most of your days?
Yes, and it's a safe playground because it's Seattle, Washington, and it's a very safe city. Everyone's very nice.
Are you originally from the Chaz?
What's that?
Are you originally from the Chaz?
What's that?
Never mind. Just keep going. Don't worry about it. If you don't know, thank your lucky. Like, what a beautiful world you must live in. Oh my God, I would kill to be you.
Oh, my bad. Okay, yeah. I tend to turn a blind eye to what's going on right now.
That's good.
It's just there's no reason to. I actually, but in doing so, my friend just bought a sailboat with his unemployment money. We're going sailing tomorrow. Like I'm not gonna I don't need to pay attention to this Chaz shit. My family's going insane about it.
This is beautiful. I love
I'm here going sailing tomorrow.
This is actually beautiful because it shows that there is a light at the end of the Kyle Cease tunnel. So we're now seeing the other side of it. All right, so back to you. You grew up in Seattle. You did some open mics. You started out doing comedy there. What happened?
Wait, give me a second here.
Did you?
The sound went.
Can you not hear me?
All right, I don't know what happened, but I can barely hear you. But
well, that's
go ahead,
not
say
good.
that again.
I said you grew up in Seattle, right? You did some open mics there. You start to do some comedy there. What happens?
Well, then I was like, I'm gonna set this aside. I'm gonna go to college. This is later in life. My life has been. I've always been a kind of, I haven't really had a handle on myself or any real plan. So I tried selling cars when I was in my early 20s. I sold insurance. I was just doing whatever I thought sales was the gig. Then I decided to go to college in my mid 20s. And I actually ended up dropping out a semester before I graduated because of this whole Kyle Cease thing, actually. But, I've never really known who I was. Always just trying this or that, not really succeeding. Did comedy a little bit, but didn't really, it was just like a pipe dream. And then in the midst of college, I decided to, just look up comedy again. Just like, I remember, I like Kyle Cease. So I looked him up, and it turns out he was just some like spiritual guru guy. And I was like, oh, that's pretty gay.
Had you heard about his comedy boot camp stuff?
No, I had not.
Okay.
But I know of them now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I'm like, all right, well that's pretty lame. He's into spiritual stuff. That's pretty sad and pathetic. But as my life in college became, in my mid 20s became more and more sad and pathetic, just circumstances happened as they may, and I met people that were, going down the spiritual path, and being someone who was lost and had tried so many things and failed or just didn't really give it their all or gave up. I was like, well, this is a cool thing, a spiritual path. That's a great way to have an identity. Of course, I wasn't thinking in such a self-aware manner. I was just, but that's what it was. I was like, okay, the spiritual path, that's what it is. Then that's a way I can raise myself and have an identity and be better than the other people that are actually successful.
Did you grow up like religious at all or have any sort of spiritual kind of upbringing?
We grew up Catholic, so I mean, technically the answer to that's no. Catholics are just basically they're just doing what they've been doing and their family taught them. You're just a disgusting human being, but then you go to church on Sunday and act like you're not.
Right. Okay, so I was going to guess that you grew up Catholic. I'm not kidding. That was what was in my head. There's something about that. I have a feeling a lot of the people that fall for this kind of stuff grew up in that because it's that weird middle ground of both super strict and religious and not at all. Do you know what I mean? Like you're supposed to be following all these rules and you're supposed to be doing all this stuff. Your family was probably super lax about that, and just whenever it was inconvenient, they didn't do any of that shit at all.
Well, yeah, my family doesn't even believe in God, but they do believe. Well, they believe in God when when it suits them.
Right, when it's convenient. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Because this whole guru thing to me is like, it seems like it is a spirituality of convenience. It's, well, what feels good for you? What's good for you right now? It's all about me, which is seemingly the opposite of spiritual. I always thought that the whole point of like religion and spiritual stuff was supposed to be about giving and how you can be better for the world. But all this guru stuff is...
Yeah, being of service, disciplined.
Yes, exactly. All this guru stuff always sounds like, well, what's not working for you, and how do we make every single thing in life, including your fuck-ups and failures, work for you? How do we make things easier and more convenient for you, Robert? Did I just lose you? Did your camera go off?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Your camera went off.
All right, hold on. This Discord is a real bitch.
Well, I tried to get Robert on Hangouts, but there's a certain group of people where Hangouts, when you click the link for it, what kind of phone do you have? You know what? We're going to get into tech talk here because this is pissing me off. You're not the only one this has happened to.
Yeah, no, I got an Android.
I knew it. Okay. Fuck every single person out there who says anything about iPhone. And here's why. All right. You've got your cool launchers. Oh boy, you can customize your home screen on your Android. You're gay. You're a gay nerd. Every kid ever growing up that I knew of that was like into customizing things, that was the kid you bullied for being a loser. And now everybody is, my Android phone lets me do whatever I want. Oh yeah? Does it let you use Hangouts? I have all these people. We do a Friday show with a Hangout, with a Google Hangout. And there's all these people who click the link. They're like, it doesn't work. It just brings up the app. Your phone is made by Google. It's the same company. How do they not have this figured out? On an iPhone, if you click the Hangout link, it goes to the Hangout. On Android, if you click the Hangout link, it opens the Hangout app and does nothing. And there's no choices once you're in there, apparently. Or alternatively, Robert and many of my listeners are complete Down syndrome morons. Those are the options.
Also possible.
I'm starting to believe you got an extra Chromecast or something.
You know, me too. But hey, awareness is the first step in healing anything.
I hear Robert suffers from chroma key syndrome. So, okay, can you turn to the video back on?
I'm scared. So I there's a button I can push a button.
It's the camera button.
I can push something that might bring my camera back, but I'm afraid it's just going to disconnect us.
I'm gonna try it. Press the camera button. It's a button that looks like a camera. God, man, this whole episode is just technical difficulties. Robert, are you there? It looks like you're still connected.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Did you press the camera?
Yeah, I'm connected.
Did you press the camera button?
Yeah, it's just pull.
It's just what? And he's disconnected. Android. This is a commercial for Android. Okay, I think it's connecting his camera. There we go. He's back.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the internet's Robert. Android's Robert. So, okay, wow. Buy a Google Pixel. So, okay, you were lost in your ways. I think many people in their 20s are lost in their ways. I don't think that's unusual. I think, in fact, that's probably the norm, is in your 20s you feel like you have no idea what you're doing, but you felt desperate, right?
Yeah.
So, what did you do then? I mean, how did you find Kyle Cease? You see he's a guru now. How do you go from going, I'd like to see this comedian I remember, to I'd like to join his cult?
Well, like I said, I was, about a semester away from graduating. Grades were going down. I was, because I was tuning my perspective now to this like spiritual way. And I'm taking classes in psychology, and all my papers, everything I'm focused on is like, how am I gonna bridge the gap between psychology and science and spirituality? And like, it wasn't working. So I was getting bad grades. And like, somehow this disease of new age spirituality was just like infecting my brain more and more and starting problems in my life. Now, so that those problems led me to continue to focus more on the spiritual, new age spirituality. It's kind of like I guess it's like a disease, like an addiction almost, like someone who drinks to avoid their problems, then they get more problems, so they drink more. So I was, this new age spiritual perspective is now causing problems in my life. So what do? I look up more spiritual stuff. I just remembered that guy, Kyle Cease, became a spiritual guru. Let me look up what he has to say.
Oh, so it was like a separate thing. You just happen to be on this same sort of spiritual journey at the same time as you had just rediscovered Kyle Cease, and then at some point those two things converged.
Right. And here's where the delusions of grandeur can like really cause this. That's why this new age spiritual movement is actually so dangerous, because it's basically promotes a delusion of grandeur in people. And so in my head, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm becoming this more spiritual guy. And then, this comedian who I really look up to and found funny, he's also on the same path. It must be meant to be. So I started paying more attention. I mean, it's just crazy. Like I can't even believe I was this person.
I can see in your face, like as you say this, you realize how stupid this all seems. So don't worry about that. The fact that you're smiling while saying this, it really shows me like you've never really collected these thoughts this way before. And so don't be like, as Kyle would say, be raw, be like, just, expose yourself. You don't have to worry about it. We're not judging you for that, because let's start with this then. Just to make this as clear as day. Your message to people out there about Kyle Cease, if you were to put it in one log line, what would it be?
Kyle Cease is he's a snake who preys on the weak-minded.
Okay, and that is now that it's funny you say that, because that is basically exactly what I said the first time I ever saw any of his guru stuff on the show. I mean, it was pretty much those words exactly. So this is now, you paid for Kyle Cease stuff, right?
Yeah. So it all boiled down to I dropped out of school. My mom was upset with me. My family was upset with me, but my grandma, of course, very loving, typical grandma. Let me stay, crash your house. I need to figure out some shit. So I'm, how am I going to do this? Oh, I'll just start watching some Kyle Cease stuff. And then I had this inspirational moment, because I had money. I had like $4,000 in my bank from like student loans or something. So I didn't have a lot of money, but I had enough money to buy a ticket to Kyle Cease. So I just had this inspirational moment.
How long
I'm going to go to LA.
How long ago was this?
This is 2016, summer of 2016.
Okay. All right. Same year I started making fun of him.
So I'm like, I'm going to go to LA and follow my dreams. I remember I want to do comedy. Kyle Cease on the screen, on this YouTube videos telling me to do comedy or follow my dreams. So I actually emailed his people and like talked them down, because it was like they had a sold out show, which by the way wasn't sold out. They always say every show's sold out, but all the seats in the on the top row of the Alexa Theater or wherever it was in Burbank, they were empty. They had plenty of room.
I knew it. I said that. I said, I guarantee you they've got some like either upper or wing seats toward the back where you could probably like close an accordion door to hide the fact that there's nobody in them or something like that. Every theater's like that, where they've basically got two modes. They've got the actually full, like, wow, we really sold this one out, this must be somebody huge setting. Or they've got the one where it's like, yeah, look how many people we've got, and just hide these seats away, sort of thing. So you're saying it never actually sold out. It was a good number of people, though. Oh, yeah, it was plenty. And by the way, it's more than just baby-brained old women. I mean,
sorry to go on a tangent, but I mean this one needs to be said too, because this one, hopefully this guy figured it out faster than I did. I mean, I followed the advice all the way to the ground, and then I still keep some of that shit in the back of my mind, just because like it is fun to just go with the flow sometimes, but it's definitely not going to get you abundance. But he got a guy who was making
hang on. I want you to finish that thought. But you just said it's definitely not going to get you abundance. I mean, that is not a normal human sentence. Do you know that? Do you realize you're
Kyle
saying?
Cease preaches.
Yeah. You're saying.
He told me on. I went on stage. Wow. I like when he was like he called people. He had me go on stage and go on like a 5-minute go with the flow rant. He like sat me down and was like, you need see what you're doing wrong is you're not just being in the you're not listening to me. You're not like I did the full thing, dude. I raised my hand and yelled and like
you're one of the people that actually went on stage and he's like, okay, see, this is what and then his gross wet mouth. When he talked at you, did his lips hit you? Did his saliva go all over your face?
Oh no, but he had some major BO and like sweat stains and
okay, now let's get petty. This is the stuff I want to hear. This is what the people tune in for. So he's got sweat stains, he stinks. What did he smell like? A hamburger, a pepperoni?
It was just bad BO.
Okay.
Like it smelled like he just got back from the gym and forgot to take a shower.
Okay, so he's a stinky lad. How long was this session? Like how long? I know these go for days sometime.
Oh, this was a 2-day event.
Okay,
it was about 10 hours though altogether, 10 to 12 hours.
Okay, he still probably shouldn't have stunk.
Two of those hours were meditating and focusing on what we want to manifest.
So just sitting in silence.
Yeah.
2 hours of just sitting in silence. And how many people would you say this was? Like 600 people or something?
Oh yeah. 600 to 800 even.
600 to 800. All right. So let's call it 700 people gathered in an auditorium, sitting in pure silence for 2 hours. And did he sit at the front and like, lick his lips in front of you with his eyes closed?
Well, he plays that music, that piano music.
Right.
And like he'll be like, now,
stolen.
And he'll it's a little guided. He'll like now, if you can, he even told us to try to imagine ourselves in 100 years at the same age as we were, which is weird.
What?
Like I don't know what this like. Yeah, there's some weird stuff there.
How? And by the way,
he said, imagine yourself
sorry, I just want to get a little bit more petty. How tall is Kyle?
He's, to be honest with you, I can't really remember. I'm 6'3", so it's like I'm tall, typically taller than most people, but he's probably, I feel like he's under 6, but he's like an average like 5'10", I think 5'11".
We'll go with 5'9",
maybe
probably 5'9", something like that. I just want to be sure. I'm 6'7". I just want to be sure I could absolutely smash him. Yeah, I'm huge. So. Okay, anyway, so hang on, you were about to tell something about was there something about a motorcycle or something? I remember you started on a story and I interrupted you.
No, there was a guy. I just wonder how, because like, there wasn't, it's all mostly older white women or just like weird spiritual mostly white people.
Right.
But then there's this guy he had a 6-figure income, and I'd actually met him when we went to lunch. Like I sat at the table with him, and like he was making a lot of money, but he hated his job, and he wanted to start a business, like because I think his kid was autistic or something. He wanted to start like a school for autistic kids or something like that.
Sure.
But the meat of the whole story here is like he also got to go on stage. Kyle told him, quit your job on Monday.
A school for autistic kids? That's like a hamburger joint for cows.
Yeah. It was something to help retarded kids. I remember that, but Kyle told him to quit his job Monday.
Yep.
And like go to your job, quit your job, and start right away. And the universe will give you everything you need if you allow it.
Oh my God.
So I just wonder what happened to that guy. I wonder if he ended up in a motel, paid for by the government on Skid Row.
Is that what happened?
Like I did.
Wow. Okay, We'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. So my guess would be that his retarded kid is now dead. So thanks, Kyle. Okay, thanks, Kid Stinky. So, all right. So you get on stage, you're going through these guided meditations, all this stuff. You're there at any point while you're in the auditorium with all these other people. And I assume like it's 2 days. There's time to like sort of interact with the other people and there's schmoozing going on. At any point during all this, did it click in your head like, oh God, what am I doing? Did you have that feeling of, I've made a mistake, but I'm here now and I'm kind of trapped?
Oh, yeah, I mean, many times, but then those other people will always help feed the delusion. And that's another thing, even just Los Angeles in general, you don't have to even go to a Kyle. There's just so many Kyle Cease diseased mind type of people here that'll just keep feeding your delusion. I mean, every fourth person will tell you like your vision board will, so it's like everyone here is already doing that, but now you got these, we're Kyle Cease people. I mean, I made a joke because like there's, I had like $4,000 in my account. I'm staying in hotels. I've never been to LA. I don't know anybody. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be homeless soon, I'm sure. And people are like, no, that's just the fear trying to hold you back. That's just the Matrix trying to keep you from true abundance.
Okay, I didn't.
So they'll
abundance thing. I didn't realize. So I thought you just went down to LA to visit for this event. You moved there. I mean, you just went there with the assumption you'd stay.
I mean, I intended on staying. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So no wonder
I didn't have many options. I just dropped out of school. Like I tried what I thought was everything. I was right on the precipice. Like obviously there's a logical person in my mind, no matter how delusional I get. So like I knew that this could be all retarded, but I don't really care. It's whatever. At this point, I had nothing to lose. So let's do it.
That's so frightening. So you were in a desperate place. Even if you got there and the first thing he did was take out his dick and start jacking off on stage, you probably would have stayed because what else did you have?
Yeah.
How many other people do you think were there out of that 700 or so? Would you say were in a similar spot as you? If you had to guess. I mean, I know you can't really know, but if you had to guess.
Not so many. I really think a lot of those people are, it's almost like they're just like, they're only half in, like a lot of those people are, they're not stupid enough to actually quit their job and do that stuff. And like I said, a lot of them seem like they came from like upper middle class. They got family that'll take care of them.
Would you say that maybe a good portion of the audience is not really enslaved to Kyle Cease? Like maybe they're just trying it out. Maybe they're even there sitting there skeptical, like what the fuck did I just pay thousands of dollars for?
Yeah, but then once again too, that's where like, there's you don't want to actually admit that you made a mistake. So a lot of them, I think, because a lot of them they have like, they come with like they're writing notes in their notebook. I just feel like it is like an addiction. I think that was probably my best comparison. This whole new age spiritual thing. I think a lot of these people just keep doing it. They just want to feed that delusion, that fairy tale, because it helps them cope with the reality that their life sucks.
How much money?
So they'll just keep going to like
Sorry, which event was this, by the way? What was the name of this event? Do you remember?
It was an Evolving Out Loud.
Okay, so yeah, that was the very first thing we ever covered was Evolving Out Loud. And how much did that cost you?
For me, because that's what I was saying. It was a sold out show. Here's where I thought here's again where I thought, it was all meant to be. It said sold out, so I emailed his people and I'm like, I know it says it's sold out, but is there any way you can help me? I told him my story. That I like just dropped out of school and like I really want to follow my dreams and I look up to Kyle. So then they sent me I know they're like, we can fudge some things around and get you a spot. And we'll even reduce the price from $800 to $650.
Okay. Oh wow, it's a lot less money than I thought because I know a lot of these things are multiple thousands of dollars. So I was thinking it would be a lot more. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I got a good deal. I use my
$650 is not a good deal. You're still. I love the fact that you're still in that mindset to a degree. Man, he got you. He got you, Robert.
Right. Yeah. He got me, man. He got me forever. Like I said, even though my life is shit right now, like by following my going with the flow and like allowing the universe to give me whatever it wants, like I've gotten some cool shit happen. You know, like I do get to go sailing tomorrow. I do. You know, I've been to New York and
hang on.
I've gotten a lot. But like,
hang on, Robert.
Also,
Robert, calm down. Don't worry. I'm not judging you. I'm fascinated by, and I want to hear the success. I want to hear the nice stuff eventually, but we got to get to that. I am just fascinated by the fact that like you still, without flinching, use the terms. It's still in your mind a good deal to pay $650 to go to something that ruined your life for a time. Like that's what I'm talking about. That's brainwashing. And what's incredible to me, the reason I was reacting so hugely to what you were saying is you told these people that you were basically at your wit's end, you're destitute in a day, you've quit everything for this, and they've lied and said that they are sold out, and they still, I mean, this is evil. We're talking about pure 80s movie villain cartoon evil for somebody to mail you and say, "Hi, I've ruined my life to come to this event. I know you're sold out. Can I still pay for it?" For them to go, "Yes, you will. We will still take your money from you," is out and out evil. There's no other word for it. It's ridiculous. And the idea of giving you, what, a $200 discount or a $150 discount for that to still take your money when you've now ruined your life to go do this. That is pure evil. By the way, you most likely emailed Kyle Cease. Like, it probably wasn't someone else answering that email.
Yeah, it's also possible it was. I mean, he's got these volunteers that work for him.
I know.
You'd be honored to volunteer at his next show, but you got to go to an event first. So you have to pay at least, $1,000. And then once you've seen one of his events, you could get the honor of volunteering so you can get his just amazing wisdom for free. So long as you help clean up.
I'm very aware of the volunteers. By the way, he doesn't have so many anymore. Thanks to his Me Too event, we kind of got a lot of those people to quit. But that said, I've talked now to Kyle's brother. I've talked to people who were his volunteers. I've talked to people who were brainwashed by him. And according to them, Kyle was more hands-on than he would make it seem. He wanted it to seem like he had this big business around him, when in reality, it was usually him doing all this stuff and lying, just the same way he lied and said they were sold out. It's all to make yourself seem bigger. And I do love, by the way, you also brought up the idea that these people paid so much money, they don't want to feel wrong for having done that. That's something we talk about on this show constantly, and not just with guys like that, not just the guru people who listen to podcasts and give them money, or entertainers or whatever. All these people we make fun of, we always go, why are their audiences so rabid, even when they've done something so horrible, so horrific, when they're purely, plainly evil, or whatever the case may be? It's almost always to justify their expenses. And so you paid $650. Did you ever pay more money than that? Or was that just...
No. I mean, I only went to one event. I got everything I needed out of that one event, which was nothing.
Okay. How long did you justify to yourself that $650?
I mean, honestly, what do you mean? Like, how long?
Well, how long
from that point till I was like, all right, Kyle Cease is a fucking liar.
Yeah, how long were you under the spell, I would say?
Well, even as you pointed out, it's still in there somewhere. I mean, I know he's a fucking liar, but like, there's still this like hope or belief that, if I just be my true authentic self, things will work out, even though it still doesn't. Like, now at this point, I'll just do it just because, like, fuck it, like, why not? But I really figured out Kyle Cease was a lying piece of shit probably by the time that I had no money left in my bank account, and I was just like wandering aimlessly around LA. And
how long did that take? Though? Like between going through that theater door to the Kyle Cease event and zero money in the bank account, how much time was that?
A month.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I thought we were talking about like a year at least. Oh my God. Okay.
No, you'll lose your money fast in LA staying at hotels.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people who go there end up homeless. It's pretty. It's a tale as old as time. So, were you looking for jobs? I mean, what was happening?
Well, I guess, maybe that's not true then, not a month. Because, so, as I was saying, the way LA seems to operate is it does feed, it's like a carrot on a stick. Like, it'll feed, the delusion did keep getting fed throughout. So, I was like, all right, Kyle Cease is full of shit, but stuff did kind of work out, but it was still really shitty. Okay. So, like, once I had no money left, somehow I ended up, like at this, there's like some food truck in Echo Park, or like feeding the homeless. And it was these Filipinos that were feeding the homeless for their Christian church. And I started talking with them. And they actually ended up taking me into their house. And I lived there for a couple months for free.
Wow. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they're very nice of them and kind of them. But in my head, I'm like, okay, it's finally working. Like also another thing about this like whole new age spiritual like manifest, it puts you in a very selfish state, narcissistic state of mind. Because in my head, I'm like, oh, now it's finally working. Now, these people are taking me in because they're supposed to, because like I'm manifesting my dream. When really they're actually they're just trying to help out like an insane homeless person who might have some hope.
They're taking pity out on a diseased man. So let me read the chat. Yeah. let me check the chat just for a second here. They're saying, this is evil. This Kyle Cease is a real piece of shit. Cease scams. The Gunt Guard comes to mind, someone says. Sad part is this kid seems like a responsible person with no drug abuse problem. Did you ever have a drug problem, Robert?
Not really.
Okay. All right.
I've dabbled in things.
Okay, all right.
Haven't we all?
All right. I feel like you'd admit it if you really did. Somebody said, look, he's still doing it. Put $650 in the tip jar, someone says. Probably, LOL. Oh my God, this is fire. Ha ha ha. Okay, so they're not laughing at you. They're laughing at the situation. So, because
you can laugh at me. It's fine.
Well, I mean, it is, though. They're right. You are still justifying that 650. That 650 still controls your life. And we're 4 years on, right? It's 4 years later.
Yeah.
Now, let me do this really quick, because can I just read the message you sent me about this? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you sent me a message on Facebook about this, and that's when I asked you to come on. And I want to just read a little bit of that message here, just to make sure we don't miss anything, number one, but also because of how insane it is, the way you said it, just to really kind of put this all in perspective. You said, yo, if you're still fucking with Kyle Cease shit, I would love to tell you the story how I followed Kyle Cease's advice for 4 years and watched my life progressively get worse. So to that, I mean, when I read that, that means that you were still doing that this year?
I'm still doing it today, man.
Okay,
like in a way, like I'm just doing it. I do it now just to entertain my own insanity, because I still have nothing better to do than.
I mean, do you think you're still in that hole? Like, how are you? Like, I know you're saying, yo, I've gotten to do a lot of cool things. I'm going to go sailing and all this stuff. I mean, are you okay right now? Like, overall?
Yeah. I mean, dude, like I said,
you looked really hesitant. You thought about that pretty hard. Let me ask one more time. Are you okay overall right now?
Right now, I'm okay to a degree. I got unemployment money. I'm living in the hood, and I'm going sailing. So is that good? I don't know. It's better than being in a motel paid for by the government on Skid Row.
That sounds a lot like N-word rich to me. You said your friends.
It is.
You said your friends and family started doubting you. Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, that was basically I was in LA and I was like living with the Filipino people, and I'd be talking to my mom or my
By the way,
dad, and like,
wait,
oh, things are going
hang on
better.
1 second, Robert. Whenever a white guy ends up living with an ethnic family in America, something has gone horribly wrong. Now you can pull your way out of that. You know, that makes me think of like Nick Mullen talks about living with these Chinese people in Chinatown in New York. And obviously he's a podcast millionaire now. So things could go your way after all of this. But anytime I hear about a white dude from probably a fine upbringing, maybe not the greatest, but fine, just ending up with some family that probably barely speaks English. I mean, was grandma living there? Like, what was?
Oh, dude, oh my God, you know, this one's bad. It was a 2-bedroom. It was actually a 2-bedroom duplex. There was, I believe, like 10 to 12 Filipinos, 9 to 12 Filipinos in there at a time.
Oh my God. Were they all related, or was it just like they're bringing it, the trafficking?
I mean, I'm sure they're related in some way. You know, like some of them didn't speak English at all, so I didn't know, how they're affiliated. But there was a mother, a son, and a daughter who were the main, probably the ones on the lease.
Okay.
And they were, they were the Christians that were, so they were like Christian Filipinos. And so then part of me living there, I had to listen to them like tell me about Jesus and stuff. They were also hoarders, and
I love though that you rolled your eye, like you grew up Catholic. You're sitting there. These kind foreigners have taken. Did you say you lived with rats? These kind foreigners have taken you in because you have fucked up your own life in the stupidest way possible. And you're sitting there, and they're like, by the way, Mr. Robert, please listen to the followings of Jesus the Christ. And you're rolling your eyes at that. Meanwhile, you're like, this Kyle Cease has got some real ideas on his hands. Okay, what is this rats thing you said?
No, so they were also hoarders, and they had rats and cockroaches. Actually, that's... It's where I learned cockroaches can stay alive in the microwave even when it's on.
Yeah, a cockroach can live for a month without a head, and it only dies because it can't drink. They've got a second brain inside their butt. Okay, so yeah, you know what? I guess I'm not like Bill Nye the Science Guy. Why am I saying this? Good point. Yeah, you should have been quiet for that. All right, We'll get more into this. Sit tight, Robert. We're going to get more into this. I just want to quickly say, like I said earlier, we've got shows on Wednesdays and Fridays. If you enjoy what we're doing here, if you like the show, if you checked out all the free stuff, you can see our premium stuff in the Pizza Fund. We built our own Patreon. You can join it for as little as $1 and get immediate access to a huge archive of content. If you join the $6 level, you get the Friday shows. The $12 level, you get the Wednesday shows as well. You get to see all of them when they go live. It's a huge archive spanning years and years and years. Most of the people in it have still not gotten through all of the stuff in there. Join it today. I don't run ads on the show. I don't have sponsors, and I don't waste your time. Podawful.pizza is the link. Podawful.pizza.
Support the show. Join the Pizza Fund. Podawful.pizza.
Pizza.
Podawful.pizza.
Podawful.pizza. And by the way, in the chat room, they're saying Pizza Fund is so worth it. I joined, no regrets. Jesse is hilarious. Thank you so much, guys. I want you to know, too, if you join the Pizza Fund, you don't, I don't own you for the rest of your life after that, okay? So, very few people who have joined the Pizza Fund have immediately become destitute and lived in a hoarder nightmare with a Filipino family. And I just want to say, Robert, I assume you're not in the Pizza Fund, what with your lifestyle?
I'm not. But I mean, I'd be willing to donate.
No, Robert.
I'm rich right
No,
now,
Robert.
man. I got
Robert,
unemployment money.
no, Robert, stop. This guy, he's been brainwashed by Kyle. No, I'm offering a free Pizza Fund subscription to Robert for appearing on the show tonight. The $12 level for free for Robert. You know what? $20 level. I'm going to give you the $20 level, and I'll tell you why. We've had 2 episodes on Kyle Cease in our $20 level of the Pizza Fund. We do this show in there called World War. There's actually a bunch of shows in there. And I think the World War thing went really well. I think that we've been having a lot of fun with that. I do think Kyle is running scared right now, and I think you should see it, Robert. I think it would maybe help you out of this brainwashing a little bit to see what we've got in there. Did you happen to see the preview I put out for the World War with a very special guest that Kyle knows?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to show this for the people out there right now. This is... Wait, I thought I had it here. Yeah, here it is. So we do the show World War. It's basically... It's stuff that I can't do for free. I just can't put it out there. We do things behind the paywall sometimes that are a little dicey. And whenever I've got an enemy going after me, like Kyle did, Kyle went after my YouTube channel. He did a false copyright strike against me to try to get my videos about him taken down. Whenever that kind of stuff happens, I like to retaliate. So we go to war on the goons. And what better way to do that than to bring on somebody who knows every devastating piece of info about you? Take a look at this. This is just a little bit of a clip from that episode, if you haven't already seen this. Well, they say, it makes for some strange bedfellows, but they say the enemy of your enemy is your friend, right? Well, I just found out that Kyle's newest enemy is in fact his own brother, who will be joining me on the show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Cease. Kevin Cease is here. Let's go do it. This is World War! Okay. So, that's World War. Now, we interview Kevin. Do you know his brother? Like, was his brother involved with the stuff that was going on when you were a part of it?
I looked up, like, the only thing I really knew about his brothers when I was, into Kyle and what his message. I was like, I found his brother's Facebook page. I scrolled through it. His brother seemed to be, very spiritual guy or whatever. But yeah, I just read his Facebook post, like, oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
Wise stuff.
I mean,
that's pretty much all
I know his brother has kind of worked with him on some of this stuff before and things like that. I just want to say, Kevin was not happy with me putting out this preview, and he's asked me to take it down, and I'm going to take it down for him, but I am going to be leaving it inside this episode where I just showed it. I just realized I forgot to take it down. I told him I'd take down the preview. He was not all too happy with me putting out this info, and so there will be a follow-up Fallout show in the Pizza Fund, the $20 level. So we're going to have another episode about what happened as a result of me putting out this interview. But Kevin had some devastating things to say about Kyle during this and about some of our other goons.
I was like, Kyle needs to be in 24-hour care, medically speaking. He was at one point I was like, dude, you're cluster B personality disorder. You have histrionic, narcissistic personality issues. You're a compulsive liar. You're really fucking sick. And I'm really worried about you.
Did he know what Pod Awful was at that? He knew,
Yeah.
and you knew?
Yes. Yeah, because you had done an older episode.
So he saw that
years ago.
So he saw that, and that
he freaks out, man. It really fucking affects him.
So Robert, how do you feel knowing, one, that even his own brother believes that there's something majorly fucked inside Kyle's head?
Well, it makes perfect sense. He like, when I think back to some of the things he'd even say at his convention, you can tell he was a narcissist. One of the things he said was, the reason you're all here today is because you're supposed to be here. And like, but the way that he said it, and then whatever he said afterward, which I don't remember, but you could just feel like the way that he views his following is like, and he always talks about the Matrix. Okay, he said if Neo left the Matrix, but then decided to go back into the Matrix, do you think he would just get a regular job? No, he would get, he would become a celebrity. Which actually that's not true, because I think if Neo left Matrix, came back in, he'd probably just be like the most miserable, depressed human being ever, because he knows it was all fake.
We'll find in the upcoming sequel to The Matrix 4, Transsexual Revelations. Now, let me ask you this, Robert. How do you feel about his brother revealing that Kyle knows about Pod Awful, has seen the show, has been watching it since we first covered him 3 or 4 years ago, and it bothers him greatly?
I feel that's great, man. Let's bring him down.
Yeah, it's got to be nice, right? That's got to be a nice feeling to know there's somebody.
If he really believed what he's preaching, that that this is all just the Matrix, and everything's supposed to happen as it does happen, then he should have faith that somehow Pod Awful is going to make him better. But he knows that that's not true. He's scared. He's in fear right now. He's living in fear. I need to go. I need to bring him on stage and sit him down and tell him to
stop
shed
living
that
in
fear, Kyle.
I've got a video you should see, actually, when it comes to that. We'll play that in a second here. Are you familiar at all with some of the other guru goons that I've talked about on the show, like a guy named Brandon Marshall? You ever heard of that guy?
No.
So he's one of Kyle Cease's disciples, and he ended up becoming actually he might even be more interesting than Kyle, because imagine if there was a guy just who kind of looks like Kyle, pretending to be Kyle, with none of the money or charisma of Kyle. That is.
They're everywhere here.
Yeah, I mean, they're everywhere on the planet, and they all have that gross fish mouth thing. They all look like Roger the alien from American Dad, and they're all trying to be gurus. It's very strange. Brandon Marshall, here's the...
He's building a persona up and looking for
Brandon.
fame. He's picking up women like his life was the game. He's got a mouth more mealy than a pound of grain. Brandon Marshall is his name.
So that's Brandon. They know, like Kyle and his brother Kevin know about Brandon. And so he actually had some stuff to say about that as well. Let me keep playing this video real quick, Robert. We'll come back to you.
Really? Okay. I just, sometimes I say, like, they saw it, he's watching, and I don't know. I'm like, I'm joking.
Yeah. No, he was watching, and I was fucking dying, dude. And it really made me go, dude, I really like your show.
So did he message while you're watching it? Well, now you say that, but
texting,
again, while you say that, but again, you did come back and defend him after he did take down the video. Do you know a guy named Brandon Marshall?
Yeah, I don't like him. we were Facebook friends for like a day, and I was already like, what the fuck is, like, just no thanks. So I unfriended him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like, he really
and
likes your brother.
I think he was weirdly into my brother too.
Oh, I think he is trying to be your brother. Like,
yeah, so he friended me because he saw I was his brother, and I remember thinking there was a weirdness to the way he like a gay level of liking my brother.
Okay, so even Kyle's own brother thinks that Brandon is gay for Kyle, and this is something I always talk about with the gurus. Is it seems like this bizarre, the whole guru thing, motivational speaker thing, whatever you want to call Kyle and all these other people, it seems like this weird pyramid scheme or multi-level marketing thing where it's just gurus all the way down. How many of the people after you got involved with this, Robert, would you say seemed like they were also trying to do what Kyle does? Is it just by its very nature something that because you follow it, you then try to do that for other people? Or is it a scam? What is it?
It's once again, man, like I keep saying, it's I really believe it's like a disease of the mind. Like, because a lot of these people they would probably a third of the people I met at the convention were trying also to be life coaches or motivational speakers. And it's not
a third of them.
Yeah, definitely.
That's crazy. Think about if a third of your customer base was trying to also do your job. How long would that survive?
Probably for a while though, because once because like it's like there's like just a few of these guys on top, like Kyle Cease, and then everybody else, they want to be a life coach, but they don't have the narcissistic tendencies that the ones on top actually have, so they won't be able to do it.
Right, I see that. It's just like with the Mersh effect, you know, these guys that do their own nightwave radio shows, like this guy Mersh. They're all trying to do it. Everybody in Mersh's audience has their own nightwave show, but not all of them are as egotistical as Mersh to be screaming at their chat room all night long. So only Mersh will be on top. I see your point. I guess it will work out for the guys at the top, and everybody else at the bottom just suffers no matter which path they go down. Obviously, you probably went down the worst of all of the paths, though. You didn't go guru, but you did try to follow all this stuff. You did it for 4 years. You say your family stopped paying attention to you. They didn't. They started doubting you. You also told me your insanity and suicidality had kept you going. That Kyle Cease told you living in the moment brings good. So you were suicidal during this time.
Yeah. I mean, it got to the point where it's just like, fuck it. Let's just keep. Like, this doesn't work, but I don't like. It just puts you. It kind of just trapped. I got trapped into this weird, like, go with the flow bum state where I'm just like, fuck it, man. Let's just keep doing this and see where it takes me. And like, hasn't killed me yet.
Would you say Kyle Cease contributed to you nearly killing yourself?
Yeah, we can say that.
Okay. All right. There you go. There's a testimonial. Wait, hang on. Let me put you, I want to get you big on screen here. Okay. I'm going to throw you up there. Let's really zoom in on you here. And then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some text ready here. Let me just get this. It's going to say hello world for a second. Pay no mind to that. Let's get that down here. Okay, here's what I want you to do, Robert. Okay, so just one more time, if you could just say directly into the camera that Kyle Cease nearly made you kill yourself. That Kyle, say something like, I'm gonna put it into your own words. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but something along the lines of Kyle Cease's program nearly drove you to suicide, okay?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So my name's Robert Conroy, and I just wanted to say I followed Kyle Cease's advice, being my true authentic self and allowing the universe to provide me with what I needed to manifest my dreams. And it brought me to homelessness and essentially a state of wanting to kill myself at all times. So thanks, Kyle Cease. Appreciate it. That was the best $650 I ever spent.
All right, somebody cut that and send it to the Kyle group for me. Thank you very much. Okay, well done, Robert. So you were going to kill yourself over your girlfriend left you during this time. Is that right? You said that you said you had a girlfriend.
I actually ended up getting a girlfriend in LA, and then
how on earth? On earth does you're homeless? How does a homeless guy get a girlfriend? I'll never understand how these things happen.
No, this is, oh man, dude, there's so many things that is, so after, this is like a few years later, I hitchhiked back to Seattle after I left the Filipinos and like had to live in Skid Row, lived with my grandma.
By the way, which one did you pick? Ass, gas, or grass?
What's that?
Which one did you pick while hitchhiking? Ass, gas, or grass? Nobody rides for free.
Gas and grass. No ass. But by the way, living in the moment will get you a lot of opportunities where gay dudes will want to.
I like that you call those opportunities. That's nice of you to say. You know,
I think it's a trick from maybe this whole thing was created by some like secret society of gay dudes to turn straight dudes. Like let's get them living in the moment, get them to hit rock bottom, and then we'll come in and take them in.
Well, listen, there's definitely you're not supposed to notice any sort of coincidences, and there's definitely no coincidence at play when it comes to how gay Kyle sounds, the number of gay dudes who hit on you when you're in a state of desperation, the fact that you refer to those as opportunities, the fact that AIDS is sort of an opportunistic disease, and of course, the fact that purposefully infecting somebody with AIDS in California was decriminalized. Don't notice any of that. It's not a coincidence. It's planned. So anyway, some gay guys tried to rough you up, backyard style. You make your way back to Seattle through the old thumb method. You get on your getaway sticks. You're back in Seattle. What happened?
So I'm living in my grandma's house, and life just gets worse and worse. Start drinking a lot.
Sorry, Grandma.
And and so then eventually I get so drunk that I made a Facebook post. This is embarrassing as shit, actually, but hey, you guys aren't judging. So anyways, I made a Facebook post that I was going to kill myself. And there's this gay dude in LA, some old man who's like, he's like, don't kill yourself. I'll take you to New York. I'll fucking whatever.
No.
So,
wait, when you were telling me like, hey, it's not all bad, I went to New York, you were taken there by an old gay predator?
Hey, I never had to. He never admitted he was gay. Like, I'm just making an assumption. I was actually able to use this guy and live on his couch.
Wait, so you were living like a Midwestern slut who like gets to New York by shacking up with dudes? You're just using guys?
I never had to fuck a dude or touch a dick or see a dick or anything. You just have to like. What I was doing was, once again, I became...
You were a twink boy toy. No. You were a twink boy toy. Maybe an otter.
I mean, all right, if you... Yeah, what I guess, I never had to do anything. I felt in my head, I'm like, fuck these gay dudes. I was like the girl that, check it out. I'm like that girl that like every dude... Like all the dorky dudes are like buying things for, and she like leads them on, but never actually does anything. So in my head, I'm like, fuck these gay dudes. They don't actually tell you they're gay.
You're saying the old man predator was simping for you?
Yes, exactly. Okay. And I took advantage of his simpness.
Let me be clear. There's a lot of prostitutes out there who never actually fuck the guy. The guy ends up crying with him or just says, just lay here with me. So you might not have seen an old man's dick. You might not have fondled some wrinkly old balls, but you were still a prostitute.
All right, yeah, I'll give you that.
All right, okay, there, very good. Okay, so he takes you on.
We could add that too. Kyle Cease made me a prostitute for old gay simp men.
Unpaid promotion. So, okay, so you prostituted yourself to an old man to go to New York. What happens in New York?
We just, we enjoyed New York. We went to Central Park.
You rode in the horse-drawn carriage together. He was wearing a top hat. You in your finest evening gown.
Because this guy was very, very simp. Like he never, I didn't figure out he was gay until like 3 months later. Like, I really just was like, all right, this guy's just a nice old rich guy. Like, because he didn't do anything creepy.
No, nothing creepy about a stranger reaching out to you from the internet and going, let me take you across the country with me a little
Well,
boy.
Keep in mind, I hitchhike, so creepy to me was like, all of a sudden you're sitting in this guy's car and he starts touching your thigh and asking you if you want to go to the pleasure zone with him. That's creepy,
Wait,
okay?
Did that happen?
That's when you get out of the car.
Wait, did that happen to you?
Yeah. Oh, here's another good one. There's this like bro-y dude who picked me up, and I thought he's just like, yeah, bro, you want, you want to come to my house and like, we'll have a cookout or whatever. Like, we'll do it tomorrow. You can, we'll have a barbecue. We'll bring all the homies over. So I get out of his car.
No, not the homies. Not the homies. When you hear about the homies, that's when you got to get out of there. Unless he's talking about those things you get out of a gumball machine.
It says, will you beat off with me, yes or no? And then he drives off and he's like, if yes, meet me at the bushes.
And let me guess. You circled or and sent it back to him and giggled. And then all your girlfriends were like,
no, so what I did was this is where my mindset changed. I was mad. I was like, fuck this. But then I was like, wait a minute. I got fur. I got further up the road. I didn't have to actually beat off with the guy. So I was like, from that point on, I was like, I'm just going to keep taking advantage of these gay simps until I finally make it to the top.
Man. Yeah, you don't want to make it to the top with gays, if you catch my drift. Okay. Robert, you're terrifying me with these tales, I gotta be honest. Are you happy to be here, though?
Yeah, I love it, man.
Okay, say happy to be here.
And like...
But will you say, I'm happy to be here?
Happy to be here.
There you go. Okay.
I am happy to be here.
33 and loving it, happy to be here. All right, so this gay old man takes you to New York. You realize he's gay 3 months in, is that right?
Yeah, because I'm like, all right, well, this guy's just a nice guy.
Where do you stay with him?
I lived on his couch in like this very nice apartment in Hollywood. So we went to New York, then we came back because I actually came to Hollywood, met him, then we went to New York the next day, and we flew back to Hollywood. And then I'm like, I'm just gonna stay until he kicks me out. And the guy just like never kicked me out. So I stayed there for like a year, and I was like, he was an old man, dude. He's like 70, so he needed help like with shopping and stuff. So I'd like go shopping for him and like all this stuff, and then he pay me money to like go shopping or like drive his friends to the doctor. Like he had this old like 90-year-old Japanese friend that needed rides to the doctor.
Let me guess, was it George Takei?
What's that?
Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, so I drive him to the doctors, run errands for the guy, So in my head, I'm like, all right, well, whatever. Like I'm getting free rent and doing work for this guy. So I had a little money. So that's and then I was just kind of living and lying to people and pretending like, oh yeah, I'm renting this room in this nice place. And that's how you get a
yeah, it sounds like somebody. That sounds like somebody else I know. So you get a girlfriend. How do you meet her?
Yeah.
How do you meet her?
We just met, actually. I met her. She was like drunk outside somewhere on Hollywood Boulevard. She was an alcoholic.
Nice.
And she was into spiritual stuff too.
Oh,
so she was, I think she was.
Wait, when was this? Like, what year was this?
This is probably 2018. Okay. We're 2 years in at this point.
Okay, so 2 years in, you meet this girl. So you're still into the spiritual stuff during all this.
Well, now at this point now, I'm this like weird narcissistic guy too. Like I'm turning into like a really shitty, not so well at managing my life version of Kyle C. It's like I really was starting to see the world. It's like, fuck, I'm going to use everybody I can.
You're just now becoming that. You're turning into it. I think you'd been at that point for a while, man.
Well, yeah, I had so in my idea, like my new idea of spirituality is like take from everything. That's what like the universe is just giving stuff to me to take. But I'm not looking at the other side of things. Like my life really is very shitty at this point. Like, why am I suffering so much? Like what? Because like you don't enjoy living on a creepy gay dude's couch who's an alcoholic and like gets drunk and starts yelling about Trump. And like you don't at like 4 a.m. and not letting you sleep. And
sounds like paradise.
I don't know. So I'm just like in this. I'm not looking at like I'm just like keeping my eyes on this like delusional state of like, oh, things are working out because I am taking. So my idea of spirituality now is like we do live in some matrix, and it's like it's giving me what I need to like take what I want. And so that like we can somehow that was able to be related to her spiritual thing. She like believes in like reptile people and fucking I don't know.
That
dude.
sounds like my wife.
It's just a clusterfuck. But she was yeah. Really? So you got one of those?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's nice. I like her. I mean, she's my wife after all. Yeah, no, really. She believes in all that kind of stuff too. But she believes in Jesus and God as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, who knows? Like, I think all that stuff is whatever you believe in could be possible as long as you don't actually know the truth.
I don't know. That sounds a little new agey spiritually to me still. You might still be in it, Robert. Okay, so
I'm still in it, man. 4 years later.
Are. Yeah. All right. So you're dating this this sort of new agey girl, and how does she end up leaving you?
Well, she's still somewhat sane. Like, she had a job at a Mexican restaurant. She just basically didn't like the fact that I just continued to be like, no, I don't have to get a job. I don't have to do anything. I'm just going to keep using people and,
Oh, you were doing this on purpose.
I don't need to do.
Well, you just thought I'll just do whatever I want. So it made you a complete narcissist, this whole program.
Right.
It's exactly what I was saying, which is that this whole spiritual thing isn't spiritual because it is all about me, me, me. You're being hedonistic almost.
Yeah.
Okay. So
right. She was like, you need to get a job. She's like, you should get a job. You should really build yourself up as a person. Keep doing comedy, but also get a job and get your own money and do your own thing and stabilize. And no, I don't have to because I've figured it out. I've learned. And by the way, at this point, I'm like, fuck Kyle Cease. He's a liar. But me, I can still continue to use this way of thinking. I don't know, dude. It puts you into an absolute state of insanity.
Yeah.
And
by the way, there's a great question. There's a great question in the chat. Somebody says, "Was she hot?"
She was hot.
Oh, okay.
She was crazy though.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, pretty much. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course she was crazy. You just said she was hot. Those are your only options are. I mean, we all know how the balance works. Okay. So.
And thank God for LA. There's a bunch of them down here.
So when she leaves you, you say to yourself, no big deal. It's just the Matrix tricking me again.
Yeah.
Those are your words. So.
Yeah.
So do you just brush it off? How when that's your thought process, what is your real world reaction to something like that? She says, "I'm leaving you. We're done." What do you do?
Oh, you're actually. I mean, you don't brush it off. You're actually deep down and truly hurt and feel betrayed. But you, instead of taking accountability like a true man is supposed to, you just turn it around on the Matrix and blame everybody else, and then you get mad. That's what you do. Okay. So you're just angry and upset at. And kind of holding this grudge and chip on your shoulder at the world that's holding you back from your destiny of becoming whatever your dreams are supposed to manifest.
Okay, so I don't know how similar you and I are. I would hope 0%, but if I were in your shoes, and again, how? But if I were in your shoes at that state, even 2 years on, and you're saying at that point, you're like, fuck Kyle Cease, you hate him. I would feel a need for some sort of revenge on the man that led me to all of this. I would feel like I would need to get him back, or at least get him to say something about it. I hate being slighted and it not being acknowledged at the very least by the person who slighted me. So have you ever attempted to do anything as the result of this, to get Kyle's attention, to get him back? I mean, anything other than what's happening right now, I guess.
No, pretty much right. I mean, sometimes all I could think of is what am I going to do? The only thing I could think of is the worst thing, what am I going to do? Go to a Kyle Cease convention and then shoot it up? I mean, what do you do to get the guy back?
Nobody said anything like that. No, of course not. Why would you do that? That's not what we were talking about. That's what I'm saying.
There's no, it was one of those things though. It's I wouldn't do that. So I just I take the blow. This is what you do. And honestly, you also just show people hey, do you really want to follow his advice and turn out like me? I should go around to schools and talk about, the drug.
Oh my God. Wait, at the end of all of this, your thought process is I should become a guru. I should become a motivational speaker.
No, I should be
You just said go around talking to people. That's exactly what he is. You're so stuck in it, man.
But I would do it.
You would be good. You would be the good one. That man, the narcissist. God, it's still in there. You can't break free.
I don't know, man. It's probably in there forever, dude. Honestly,
you can't break free. He's got
you.
a grip on you. Kyle Cease.
He's got me in shackles, man.
Kyle Cease has left an imprint on your heart that you can never wash away. It's sad, man. I feel like
I agree.
I feel like I need to do something for you to break you of this. I don't know how to do that. I mean, you're completely brainwashed.
I agree.
Okay. So, well then, since there's nothing to do about that, would you like to watch Kyle cry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So here's a recent clip from Kyle, and let's get a little petty on this, shall we? Kyle has, we made fun of him. We did that World War on him, the first one, without his brother, and he was feeling pretty good about himself. He was sniffing his own farts because he had managed to successfully fuck up my YouTube channel for a little while and had seen no repercussions for that. I believe me interviewing his brother is the repercussion, so we'll see what happens now. But Kyle has been rebuilding his brand ever since the Me Too event happened, and we've sort of degraded his lifestyle. Let's say that. He had, like I mentioned earlier, Robert, he had almost all, if not all, of his employees and his volunteers quit on him. Nobody was working for him anymore. His home life is a wreck. He's no longer on speaking terms with his brother. And we had seen in the video that Kyle did not want you to see, he had broken down to the point that he physically couldn't control his face anymore. He developed this twitch on his face, and he couldn't stop doing it the whole video, and he was sitting there in silence holding himself on video. This is something people paid for. He's sitting there just going like this the whole time, right? It was an insane video, and it makes sense that he didn't want people to see it. Well, ever since getting that taken down the first time, he's been trying to build things back up, and it's been working for him. People like Robert, unfortunately, especially women, are so dog-brained and stupid that
oh, thank you.
that they just end up falling for his crap again. And so he's starting to build back up that audience, and he's feeling on himself right now, and he's releasing more and more videos. Every week, he had stopped for a long time on his YouTube channel. Every week now, he's releasing stuff. That video I played at the beginning of the show was one of those videos. And you can see he was talking to that woman, making her cry. He's back talking one-on-one with women again. There's no stopping this guy, except here at Pod Awful. Here's one of the videos he did. This is called Crying Through the Darkness. Kyle Cease with Joey Haas. Now, from what I can make out of this, I believe this Joey Haas guy is also a guru man. I'm not exactly sure, but that seems to be the case. Let's take a look at this.
Started giving me this montage of moments of my mom so loving me. And when we're in our ego, we have this, my mom never approved of me shit. And like there's this underlying thing, and it showed me that. And
keep in mind, this is post Me Too moment. And in the video where Kyle admits that he Me Too'd a woman, he said that he thinks of himself as a little kid and he wishes he had his mommy's approval. So he's still talking about this stuff. It's disgusting.
Showed me this other thing, and it just started becoming this fast montage of my mom loving me. And then like I just felt like this energy that was like her arms wrapped around me, and it was like her rocking me and singing to me.
This is a man with a wife and kid, by the way. This is supposedly a straight man.
My heart is open with all of you. Thank you for being in my lives, everybody. I'm kind of excited. I'm excited because I'm about to bring on Joey in a second. And I'm excited because Joey and I haven't spoken
in the chat room. They say he's falling for it again. I think they mean you, Robert. Are you watching this?
I know.
Are you watching this right now and going, wow?
You guys got me pegged all wrong, man. This went left on me, bro.
Well, I mean, are you sitting here watching this going, wow, this is actually powerful. He's speaking to me
No,
right
I'm
now.
absolutely not. I'm actually zoning out because I'm just like, this guy sucks, dude. He's like, it's right when he's like talking about we're in our egos. Like, that's some fucking, what does that even mean, Kyle sees? Being in your ego? We're always in our fucking ego. We're human beings.
When you were at his event, how many times while you were there did he cry?
He never cried.
Oh.
He would get emotional. And he always does talk about his mom for some reason. He's like, my mom finally approves of me, but it sounds like she doesn't.
Well, she's dead. So, oops. I guess, yeah, it's hard to seek that approval from beyond the grave. Let's look at another one of his videos here. There's Kyle crying. I don't know. Which one should we look? All right, you know what? I'll let you pick, Robert. Should we look at his latest one, Purging into a Higher You, or
oh god,
You're Not Stuck to Anything, or The Ultimate Goal?
Well, hey, since I'm falling for his stuff again, and I'm stuck right now, let's listen to You're Not Stuck in Anything.
Hey, these don't sound salty. They're just going to assume that they're right. If you sound that salty.
I know. Hey, man, okay, listen, here's the deal. Like, because of Kyle Cease, I've lived a sinful life of selfishness and delusions. And like, it wasn't until about a year ago that I really like started taking a look at myself and taking accountability. So, and we haven't gotten to that point. So you're absolutely right for saying all the things that you did about me after telling you, the stories that I've told you.
Okay.
So I'm not salty.
All right, let's just get petty on a clip. Let's make fun of. You can make fun of Kyle with me, Robert, and I think this will help you out of your situation. Okay.
Let's hope.
I mean, that is my genuine hope. That's why I wanted to do this. Is maybe if you can see through the veil the way I do, and laugh at him for the obvious loser that he is. Maybe that this grip he has on your brain can finally be let go. So this says, the following clip is from our Now Rising online meditation event. And what that means is he's selling some stupid thing where you hang out with him on the internet called Now Rising.
Oh, God.
And it's just him giving one of his TED Talks, but over the internet. And you're paying probably $1,000 for it. I love that it's always space too. He always shows space in the background. Like, gosh, think of how infinite you are, and that my infinite wisdom.
So when you're driving, right, and you're driving a car, you're not thinking about the wheels on your car. And in that same way,
okay, we can just start right off the bat here. I want to point out many things going on with this. Okay, number one, can we talk about what can only be described as the gay vest?
Yeah. It's all part of the plan.
What is this gay vest? And he's wearing this in all of the videos now. I don't know what's going on, but he's decided he's a showman. He's Wayne Newton.
Well, it's sort of also, it looks like something like a cult leader would wear. It's like an adorning.
He's got sequins on. I mean, he's adorned in rhinestones. It looks like he's about to show us his Vegas review. So, if a guy wears a vest, by the way, you're done right there. It's over. The second a man puts a vest on of any kind in any situation, okay, unless he's doing it as a joke, you no longer need to listen to that man. If a guy puts on a vest, he's broken inside. He's saying to himself, I need an accessory. That's a woman's thoughts, okay? A guy putting on a vest is a guy looking to wear an accessory, and he goes, well, I get stinky on stage. I get sweat stains, so I don't want long sleeves.
That's why he's got to cover up this. He's covering
the stinky.
The pit stains.
Yeah, he's covering the stinky. What better way to do that than to draw attention to it with shiny sequins? Now,
right, he's distracting your other senses, so your nose won't notice the smell.
That's probably
when you're doing anything, the patterns that live in your body that you call you They're just there.
And let's point out another thing. It used to be Kyle did these videos from what clearly looked like just a room inside his home. He's now doing them from what appears to be a mental institution that he's decorated like a Pier 1 Imports. It's a weird cement wall behind him, like he's been relegated out to the shed. Now, this is speculation, but I believe Kyle is literally in the doghouse because of his Me Too's. His wife or girlfriend or whatever, the mother of his child, I think has kicked him to the curb, and he's living inside a storage shed.
Maybe he's right. I can show him where the Filipinos live if he needs.
Yeah.
He needs a.
I think he's renting a storage shed and living in it and recording these videos from it. Okay, that's number 2.
Right? And you don't know they're there.
Which, by the way, that means like we won. That's amazing. If I'm right, and he has been relegated to an outdoor place like this, you know, like whatever this is, like an unfurnished, unconditioned environment, like whatever this insane asylum is supposed to be, then that's a win.
Because you are identified with them. You think that those patterns are a part of you.
Now, this is number 3. All of these videos now that he does, and he's put out a bunch of them, he's got this microphone hanging in frame there. Let me tell you something, okay? I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but I know a thing or two about microphones. That microphone is not plugged in. It's for decoration. I'm not kidding. The audio is not coming from that microphone. He's got a shock mount on it. I believe that's an electro voice. That might be an electro voice microphone. I know what it would sound like if he were talking into that microphone. And it's just hanging there. So presumably then he's got a microphone arm. He's got it on a shock mount. He might as well put a pop filter on there. Why not? You want to really go for the look? Put the pop filter on. And yet it's not plugged in. My guess is he had the microphone and the arm and stuff already. He got kicked out of the house. And he didn't have a mixer or an XLR cable to go with it. But he went, how do I make this look like I'm not living in the outdoors? How do I make it look like I haven't been relegated to the gardening shed? I know no one living inside the shed would have a microphone. So he hangs it in the frame there and hopes you don't notice that this is laptop microphone audio. Listen carefully.
Right? And so what happens though if one of the wheels starts to do this a little bit, right? What is that?
Ooh. Okay, so not only should it be incredibly apparent. I mean, you're hearing the room noise, you're hearing the echo off of the cement walls. When he gets closer to the microphone, there's no change in volume as he moves away from the microphone. It's obviously the onboard microphone, but the most chilling part of all, let's roll this back just a little bit. Robert, pay special attention to this, okay? I think you're going to like this. I think this will help you. Watch his mouth as he says this next part.
Okay. And so
his disgusting fish slobber frog mouth.
What happens though if one of the wheels starts to do this a little bit, right?
Ooh. Now, did you see that? Right? Did you see that little thing right there at the end?
Yeah, it was like the little lip wave.
Yeah.
You know.
Go ahead.
I mean, I think that mouth. I just wonder how many dicks that mouth has had in it. I think he's one of the. He's clearly gay. He's part of the trick. I've decided that this whole guru thing, since we talked about it, it's a plan. It's a trick planned by the secret society of gay men to turn straight guys, and they just have to deal with the collateral damage of baby brain women. That's what this whole thing is all about.
Now, in the chat, and I agree, it probably is that. I mean, as you've revealed, this entire thing does lead you into a gay lifestyle. You lived with a gay man for some time. You became a gay guy. Now, in the chat room, they're saying, Harley says, confirmed, broken mic found in alley. I believe he's in an alley. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you suddenly saw a shadow go by from a guy walking past. You see Kyle just hit in the face with change. They think he's out there begging. You know, this might be just somebody's backyard or something in LA. But they're also saying he's wearing makeup like somebody else we know. You're right. He is. He is wearing makeup, and he's been wearing makeup. That's not new. We've never really called him out for this, but he's wearing foundation in all of these videos, in all of his stage shows, everything. He got used to makeup. Remember, this is a guy, he's a movie star. He was in movies. He was on TV. He's used to getting in the makeup chair. Don't think that that ever went away from his brain. He likes wearing makeup. Trust me, anybody you see talking into a microphone like this, wearing a baseball cap on the internet, they're wearing makeup. You know what I mean? Now, on top of that, though, we just saw it. The Kyle Cease mouth quiver.
What happens, though, if one of the wheels starts to do this a little bit, right?
There it is. It's this little tick he developed. And he developed this after we did our episode on him being Me Too'd. So in all this time, even though he's building his confidence back up, even though he's getting new fans and getting new people and getting people to keep paying for him and building that brand 300% bigger and putting out more and more videos, in the back of his mind, Jesse P.S., hot awful, sitting there rent-free, scratching his cortex and going, remember me? Don't mess up, Kyle. Don't mess up. And every time I do it, it makes his mouth go, bleh, 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 bleh. And he's doing this in all of the videos. This isn't a one-time thing. This isn't him just trying to scratch his nose. Every video, throughout the entire video, he's constantly doing this tick now. It's permanent. We've permanently damaged this man's mind. His synapses are not working correctly anymore.
What happens, though, if one of the wheels starts to do this a little bit, right? What is that? Well, you're kind of scared because the wheel's doing this and you're sitting here kind of feeling this thing and you're like, oh, that could fall off. In that same way, when you start growing, you start connecting to yourself, you start meditating, you start making leaps, you start accessing a higher version of you, parts of you that you thought were you are going to start shaking. That wheel's going to start doing this.
That wheel he's talking about, that shaky wheel, that's that lip quiver. He's talking about himself. Yep. These guys are always talking about themselves when they do this stuff. He doesn't know anybody. He's not talking to real people. He's living inside an alley right now. So when he says this, when you, no, he means me. Robert, how often do you meditate, by the way?
No, I don't. I mean, just watching TV count?
No. I mean, actually meditate.
I don't meditate.
When was the last time you did?
Probably a year ago.
Yeah. Okay. So at least you've broken that part. I'm glad you're not still meditating. That might be one of the dumbest things people do.
Right. So you keep going.
I just want to watch to see his mouth quiver one more time. Let's just wait for that quiver just so we can laugh.
We do this work and the wheel's starting to do this more because you're creating a capacity for it to be able to fall off. And what you start to realize is that wheel is not you. And it gets harder and harder to get it back on. And most of us are in a place where we try to get the wheel back on. Well, the second...
Is this advice helping you, by the way, Robert? You listening carefully?
No, I was just thinking, because he's always talking about not being you. And then the lip quiver thing, like maybe he's just hating who he is so much that he's got to, his cognitive dissonance is making him basically, he's got to tell you like, oh, you don't need to be you. I'm not my lip quiver.
Yes.
I'm not this horrible...
Yes, you're 100% right. That's exactly what it is. His brother told me...
He hates himself so much that he doesn't want to be him.
Yeah, his brother told me he's two people. He's bipolar. There's two different guys going on inside that head, and they're both fighting for control constantly.
You identify it as a pattern and not me, then it's going to be more and more okay for it to fall off. But what would it...
Like his brother thinks he shouldn't legally be allowed outside. And here he is living outside. That's not good.
Before it falls off, it's going to get crazier. And the whole car has a hard time functioning.
See how he got closer to the mic? The audio is the exact same.
And it starts to...
It's a fake microphone. I've never seen anything so crazy. He's presumably he still gets residual checks from movies he's been in, and this guy can't plug in a microphone. I mean, Robert, take this as a little peace of mind. His life is not going well either, okay? I know yours is worse for sure, but his life has not been what he portrayed it to be.
Feel really, really off, and it's getting scarier and scarier.
Scary Bobarier.
And you go, if that thing falls off, I'm going to die. If that thing falls off, we're not going to make it. And then you call someone that's going through that. How are you? Oh, I feel totally depressed. I feel like all these things, I don't even know who I am. And you're like, oh, hell yeah. That means you're starting to connect to what you truly are.
See, there it is. No,
He sounds like he's.
Go ahead.
He's in more denial than me at any point in this whole journey. I think he sounds like he's really lost. He's off the rails completely. You can see it. He looks scared as shit, and he's just like basically he's just telling me right now what a loser he is and how he's like doesn't even believe in himself anymore.
As a former real follower of him, do you detect like a difference in him? Does he not seem the confident guy he once did?
Oh, he seems very much in a state of desperation. I feel like it's my turn now to start my own guru thing, and then I'll get him on board. It's my turn.
No. I do like, though, he is doing that thing where it's like, no, you can't ever possibly screw up. Screw-ups for you are just opportunities. They're wrecking everyone else around you. You know, you screwing up is making everyone else's life miserable, but it's just an opportunity for you to learn.
And you're dislodging from these patterns that you called you up until now. And if you feel a lot of pain and the world feels a lot of pain, that's because a ton of their patterns are falling off. And
now remember, I have not watched this video all the way through. I've only seen a handful. Robert picked this one. So I don't know when or if he'll do the little snort again, the little mouth quiver again. But I didn't pick this video, and it happened in this one. So he is doing it all the time.
One point, you can't get the wheel back on. And some of us are starting to realize, I don't know that I want to.
I knew it was coming.
God. I knew it was coming. He sat there. Let me tell you what's going on here, okay? You know, he does these in sort of a Google Hangout or whatever, some sort of a Zoom call, whatever it might be. So he can see in front of him the people he's talking to. We're not seeing them, but he's seeing them. And he said all this stuff, and he knows it's crap. Old Kyle would have gone, I'm so confident, I believe my own bullshit. I'm sniffing my own farts. Who cares? Who cares what they think? These sheep will believe anything. New Kyle with Pot Awful installed. We've popped the governor off that sumbitch, and we're in there scratching that cortex. He's got to check in. So he looks to the little audience in front of him and goes, okay, are you guys, everybody buying this? Is this making sense so far? And the second he does that, he second guesses himself and there's a little glitch in his matrix, if you know what I mean. Let's watch that one more time. Hang on, let me get this going again.
And some of us are starting to realize, I don't know that I want to.
Oh,
right?
This is a big one.
Because
that's a really big one.
I realize I don't know that I want to.
You know, he should stream this from twitch.tv.
Right? Because life at times is trying to get things that aren't you to come off of you. Why?
What?
Come on you.
What does that mean? Life is sometimes trying to get things to come off of you? What the hell does that mean?
Times is trying to get things that aren't you to come off of you. Why is that? Because you don't know what life could be on the other side of.
So life is trying to show you the way. Then why did life put you in the bad situation? Oh no, you did that part. You are bad. Life is not bad, but you are good because you can do no wrong. See, everything you do is an opportunity for goodness for you. And yet at the same time, life is trying to show you that you keep fucking up. Life is not the problem. You are the problem. But you are not the problem. Everybody else is the problem. But that is not life. And also all of those people are also only introducing new concepts and ideas and potential into their own lives. They're only just trying out their own sort of thing. And while I sit here with this Bill Cosby look on my face, just trust everything I got to say. And speaking of Cosby, look the other way, ladies. I put this pill into your drink.
Of that. what would life be on the other side of it?
You see, you've got to put your life into the hands of yourself because life wants you to make sure that you're doing the things right. But when you do them right, you've got to sometimes do them wrong too. Rudy, how do I connect my microphone at all?
You know, I was talking to an amazing client the other day.
Oh, there it was. There was another one.
He did it.
And by the way, right after saying I was talking to an amazing client the other day, so you know what that means? No, he wasn't. Either they weren't amazing or it's not real. So
they're not there.
I think this is bullshit. I think he's about to say a bullshit story. Go ahead, Robert. What were you going to say?
Oh, I mean, we could do like a drinking game to the Twitch.
Well, again, with your problems, I don't know that maybe. I mean, if it's Dr. Pepper, sure, but you know, I don't know if we want to actually do that. If you drink to all of his Twitches, you'd be dead by the end of the video.
You know, I was talking to an amazing client the other day, and she she had sold a house that was hers that she wasn't using.
Yeah, this is a bullshit story. It was a bullshit story. She had sold a house that was hers that she wasn't using. That's not how people even talk. That is nothing. That is not a sentence. She was selling her house. That's how you say that. She was selling a house that was hers that she was not using. Oh, she has a house she's not using. Now, I know you can have like a summer home or whatever. Maybe you haven't been there in a while. I know that. That's not what you would say is she was selling.
Maybe he's trying to make it sound like if all of his clients are doing so well.
Well, there's also
they just have houses all around. They're not even using them.
You're probably right. There's probably some element of it is probably that as well. But it's him trying to find the words because he's making it up.
Sold a house that was hers that she wasn't using. And then
as you see, he looks up to the side and he's trying so hard not to twitch right there. It's like he's coming up for air. He's gasping for a breath.
So the apartment she was in was...
Oh, so she's got a house she's not using, but living in an apartment? What are you talking... Who on earth?
There were noise issues. So she was having a hard time sleeping. And she said it was so funny.
So go live in your house then, you idiot. This is not a real story.
Because she had a belief that in putting the house and selling the house, she said, every time I have something good happen, I was wondering...
You know what he's actually talking about? He's talking about his wife. She's trying to sell their house, and Kyle's having to live in this stone apartment outside of it.
If something good is happening, so there's a match that something bad is happening. And I said, well, let's take a look. And we investigated it, and we started realizing the apartment she's staying in wouldn't be her highest choice of apartment anyway. Meaning, like I said, if you and I flew over America, I'm assuming we're just going to use America for her because we can't get out of the country.
This is not real.
What is he? What did that mean just then? I assume we're going to use America for her because we can't get out of the country. Does she live in America or not? What are you talking about? This guy can't even lie properly anymore. The whole thing, con man. So he's a con man. Con man is short for confidence man. We have completely destroyed his confidence. He can't lie properly. How are women still buying into this? I'll tell you. Women are saps for a guy who's willing to cry. Now, they won't fuck that guy. You know, that's gay. But they're saps for it. Anything else, they'll eat out of the palm of his hand when it comes to that.
We're just going to use America for her because we can't get out of the country. So we're going to pick a city in America. And I said, let's say you didn't currently live in that apartment.
By the way, you can leave America. What are you talking about? There are certain countries you can't go to right now, but America has not closed down international flights.
I'd love to ask people, if you didn't already live there, or if you weren't already in that situation, if you hadn't been in the job for 20 years, would you pick it today, right? And I said, would you pick this apartment?
Robert, would you pick living in a Filipino family's house with no job and having quit school to follow this man? Would you pick that?
No way.
Oh, okay, weird.
You could have
Not now.
Well, follow your bliss.
place in the world.
Live, laugh, love. I mean, look at this guy's decorations. It might as well just be live, laugh, love, and that might as well be his entire philosophy. You could get the same amount of mental help out of a sign you bought at Target to hang up in your kitchen as you would from anything this dumb ass has to say. He's wearing a baseball cap and a sequin nightgown, as far as I can tell. Go ahead, Robert.
Oh yeah, no, I was actually looking at those decorations earlier. I feel like he like frantically picked them out of at the Ross Dress for Less or something,
Yeah.
right across the street from the garage he's living in. So he just looks, he's like.
They had a deal going on at Goodwill for all 3 of these frames, and he was like, "Okay, perfect."
You could sit in any city in the world. You could be anywhere. Would you pick this apartment? And she's
"Ooh, there it was again."
There's another one.
Would you pick this apartment? I was just about to say, would you pick this one? Kyle, are you happy where you're at right here? And I wonder if maybe that's why he did his Twitch.
Any city in the world, you could be anywhere. Would you pick this apartment? And she said, I don't think I would. I said, if I said to you, listen, you have any apartment you want, but there's this one here that has a major noise issue and you won't sleep at night. Would you pick this apartment?
I wonder if that's what his is
no.
like.
Yeah.
And I said, so
again,
I think he's talking about himself.
They're always talking about themselves. That's always what it is. This isn't a real story. This is what's going on in his life. And he's just making.
Apparently, he's by some construction. There's a noise issue in the shed that he's living in. That's for sure.
He's actually living inside a construction site. The construction site's shut down because of COVID, and he is like, okay, I guess I could just live here. He just hangs up some decorations. He brings his little microphone with him. He's like, well, there's no electricity, so
nowhere to plug it in.
Yeah, nowhere to plug it in. So I'm charging my laptop at the Goon office, the public library, every day, and bringing it here. I brought my fake potted plant in behind me, and then every once in a while, he wakes up. The foreman to the construction site comes to the job, and he's got to make sure everything is still up to code. He's like, gosh, it sure is noisy in this neighborhood. Hey, excuse me, I'm trying to sleep in here.
That this is a bad thing that's happening to us. Life is trying to kick you out of an apartment that isn't your highest. Life is.
Yeah, I don't think you're at your highest for sure, Kyle. Man, what a life. Okay, Robert, let's wrap this up. Anything you have to say about Kyle, about your story, your situation, now's your time to do it. The last word for Robert.
Well, I hope, to be honest with you, man, I just hope that it sounds like Kyle's on his last legs from what I can see. I mean, I don't know. You're paying more attention to him than I do. But I just want to say that, like, being a narcissist is not the way of life, and to actually, now my life isn't good right now, but it is actually finally getting better, and that's because I did start taking accountability for myself. The point of, there is no matrix that's basically everything that Kyle says is just a way for like a mentally ill person to cope with why everything's going wrong without ever taking accountability for yourself. If you really want to live a good life, you got to start taking accountability and realizing your part in the situation and what you need to do to change that in order to actually grow as a human being. And like, if you want to be a true spiritual person, it's about being of service to others, not taking from them, and doing things without expecting to get anything back out of it. If you want, whatever you want is, if you want to have a rich, wholesome, successful life, you got to look at what you're doing wrong and acknowledge that, and then work on that.
Now, I want you to know, Kyle Cease does watch this show. He will see this. If he's not watching right now, he's going to see this. And he will watch every second. This is your chance to talk directly to Kyle. Your one shot. What do you have to say?
I should have known you were a liar when I met you at the end of the show, and I was like, yo, you did comedy. I'm trying to do comedy. We should link up. And he's like, oh yeah, for sure. We'll definitely do that. And then I said, how? And he's like, just send me a Facebook message. So I did, and then he never sent anything back. So should have sent a Facebook message back, Kyle. Maybe I'd be on your team.
Wait, this is all because he didn't message you back.
No, it's that he lied. He could have been like, hey, man, I'm busy, you know? Okay. I would help you out, but I'm busy.
Wait, so you're saying after all of this, if he had messaged you back, you would be on his side?
I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck, man. I'm a mentally ill, unstable guy trying to make it in Hollywood. Don't you haven't we figured that out yet?
Okay, Robert, have you ever thought of going sailing?
Yeah, I'm trying to, man. I'm gonna head to the boat tonight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Robert, thank you so much for joining me, Robert.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
I do appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
We're live
Sunday,
Wednesday, and Friday,
8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern
At podawful.tv.
At podawful.tv.
Help this guy, they say. Jesse's saving Robert. Good stuff. Great ending. Man, I wish the best for Robert. That guy is in. I thought he was doing okay now. Man, I feel so bad for Robert. But that shows you the brainwashing that these people can have over you. And it's not just Kyle Cease. Even low-level goons like Brandon Marshall are capable of having this kind of control on people. We will be watching them. Amy Toomer, watch out. We've been watching you. Trust me, I won't let more people get brainwashed this way. I promise. There's very little I can do when they're as gone as Robert, but I can try my best. And Robert, I am serious. Please enjoy a free Pizza Fund account on me if you want to check out the $20 level shows on Kyle Cease. Just sign up for that account, Robert. Let me know what your email is, and I'll grab you a free account. How about that? It's the best I can do. I don't know. I only know my own cult and guru programs. And it's the Pizza Fund. I hope to see you live on Wednesday for our Wednesday show. That's in the $12 section. Our premium episode. It's exactly like our free shows we do on Sunday nights. Just another one. You get an extra show every week, so why not join podawful.pizza. Hope to see you then. Until next time, have an awful day.
Head over to podawful.com/iTunes and subscribe to us on iTunes. We're live every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern at podawful.tv. Love the show? Keep it going by donating to the Pizza Fund. podawful.com/support. And anything else you need is at podawful.com.